Good evening, people, or as the French would like to say, bonsoir to one and all. I am Ingrid Chenoy and I have been given this pristine responsibility of teaching you with English and its grammar. Instead of calling it as teaching, I would like to use the term of sharing my knowledge or the struggles I have endured in this procedure of dealing with the particular language, so that you, my people, can wage wars and move mountains with your mere words. Anyhow, coming to the main subject, why do we need grammar? Why? Why do we need grammar? When we can learn any language basically by communication itself, why do we need grammar? We need grammar to know the difference between let's eat, grandma, and let's eat, grandma. The first one having a comma, which means you're calling your grandmother to eat the food which is prepared. The second one being you're instigating people to eat your own grandmother, which is a context which is going to give your grandmother nightmares and a little heart attack. And to avoid such situations, grammar is necessary. Grammar is more of a rule set of regulations that have been put on, that have been used, that have been dug deep into the language from the beginning, from the history of the English language, from the history of the beginning of English language, and hence we need grammar to put ourselves in constraints so that we move in the right path as to say the right things. Why is grammar necessary? If you ask me, I'd say to convey the things that you want to, because while you speak, your brain has some issues that you have to say, but without proper knowledge of language, without proper communication skills, the things you want to say completely may be taken in another way, or which may be completely misinterpreted. Hence, we need grammar, which is a set of regulations to govern us through what we want to say and how we say. Because when you're given a stage and you have to convey what you want to say to thousands of people, to a group, to a crowd, you want to inspire them, you want to inspire change in them and bring a revolution, and you go on stage with poor grammar, our brain kind of catches it, whenever there is a little, even a minute mistake, our brain kind of catches it, our brain understands it, our brain knows that there is something wrong. Imagine that there's a piano concert going on and someone is beautifully playing a Bach's play, and in the middle of it he just presses one wrong key, one wrong note, and the whole city hall echoes with the mistake. And hence we need grammar to say what we have to say beautifully, and so that the people who are waiting to hear from you hear exactly what you want to say and not what your poor communication skills has put on them. Secondly, I would want to say, being brought up in a family which has its own principles when it comes to education. My parents started Brainset Abacus Foundation about 12 years back. And while they had bought the franchisee, the owner had told, the franchisee had instructed to have the fees as 750 rupees per month, which, imagine 12 years back, even now is seems atrocious. Imagine 12 years back in a district headquarters like Hassan, it felt unfair for my parents and a bitter bargain to put this on parents, as Abacus is considered to be extracurriculum and not the core syllabus in a student's life, and hence it seemed unfair for them, and they fought with the franchisee and reduced the fees to 350 rupees and have not increased the penny up till now, after 12 years of successful running of the institution, they have never increased it. Which as growing up was which I was very against it, because well, recently before the quarantine had happened, I went to a charts center with my friends, so about a 5 group of people. A single plate of pani puri was 35 bucks. And for 5 people, the bill would come around 200 rupees for a day, which is gonna be wasted the next day. But the classes for a whole month still cost 350 rupees, and hence, being brought up with such principles, I will not stand here and make my own words make my palace with my words and say to you and make fake promises to you that you are all going to be English pundits within the 3 months of time, which would be really a lie to be saying. In fact, to be honest, I'd be lying to you if I say in 3 months you'll be the master of English speaking, and that you will have a mastery in everything, including grammar. It will be a lie. What I can assure you is that whenever you are going to speak in a crowd, you will be having the guts, you will be having the strength to speak without hesitation, because you will be knowing the basic set of these rules, which I am going to be teaching to you, the 3 months of duration. I tell you this with maximum confidence that you need not know an in-depth knowledge when it comes to any language. You can just know about 20-30 words in your life, and with proper grammar knowledge, you can win people, you can win their hearts, you can win countries and move mountains. But without a proper grammar and without a proper foundation, whatever the great ideas, no matter how Goliath it is, it's gonna seem very small with mistakes which is gonna be very bad even for a person in higher grade with a higher position. You being not able to convince people, convey the message to other people, is what I want to stop. And having said that, what I have seen is there is this fear, there is this fright when it comes to English language. I don't understand. It is like any other language. We have inculcated a lot of words when we speak our normal dialect, which is Kannada. There are a lot of words which are English that we don't know. We have just unconsciously included that in our dictionary. We do not know what mobile phones are called in Kannada. In a normal day-to-day conversation, we just use it as phone, be it bus, be it conductor. We do not know the specific word, the right word in Kannada to be used, and we use English words in our day-to-day lives with no fear. But when it comes to speaking English at the same time, we are being conscious. We think that people might judge us, and that we think that people might think it's wrong, and we always treated English as this kind of a behemoth with sharp canines and the big paws just bouncing on you, which is not the truth at all. In fact, our Kannada language has 49 letters, while English just has mere 26 letters. How hard can it be to at least not be a maestro, but at least a layman with the proper grammar? It is not. If you will be with me for the 3 months, I'll give you the strength, I'll assure you that you will have the confidence to speak. If not write a novel or an article of your own, or publish thesis, you will be able to at least form 2 sentences with no fear. Now coming to why grammar is necessary. I've told you the grandma's incidents, which is horrific as it seems, and we do not want this kind of confusion that might lead to mishaps. So while I was in school, we had Hindi and Kannada also, but English was always my getaway language, because even my parents were equipped with proper English, and my mother has always been peculiar about not making faults when I speak, because it might ruin the conversation, or it might ruin the stance I'm trying to take, and hence I've always had this closeness towards English more than the other regional languages, and hence I just when it came to Hindi, reading or learning Hindi or Kannada, I just over the top I went through the things that I had to do to just pass off the language, and I passed out of the school. Now being at this position, now that I want to try to make a message or try to take up an important matter like situations of our country and talk to people in Kannada or Hindi. I'm put in this position with very less words, and I'm suffocating because I still do not know the difference between ki and ka in Hindi, which is makes me a big laughing stock, and I'm trying to take up something important and sensitive topic in the public. While I'm trying to talk something about the content and conditions of it, and I make a slight mistake, it unwillingly becomes a laughing comic scene, and hence we have to learn grammar, and hence we need to know rules and set of this regulation that have to be followed. Now, the common mistake I've seen people doing is they take exactly what they speak in Kannada, their normal dialect, and they try to translate it as it is word by word in English, which is not how any language works, to be honest, because every language has its own kind of rules, has its own regulations that need to be followed, that need to be put to use, because Hindi does not have Napunsakalinga. If you want an example in Kannada, anything can be categorized into a gender called Napunsakalinga. This is a duster, and it would be a Napunsakalinga. But Hindi doesn't have it. In Hindi, each and every word is either categorized into Pulling, which is masculine, or Striling, which is feminine. And hence, let me tell you the surprising thing that Muche, which is mustache or mise in Kannada, is actually a Striling in Hindi, while a ponytail or jade, which is choti in Hindi, that is actually Pulling. The reason why I'm telling you this is because to make you understand the tenacity of the rules and regulations in each and every language that keeps changing. Okay, and hence you can't just just translate a language to another language completely without tarnishing it or misinterpreting it in the way. Let me give you some hilarious instances of translation going horribly wrong. We've all probably heard of KFC. KFC is a fast food joint. It serves fried chicken, and they have this tagline called finger licking good. Okay, it is finger licking good, which means adu tindre we'll keep on licking our fingers. It's so good that we'll lick our fingers after we've done eating it, which is a very good tagline to be considering. But when there was a KFC joint opened in China being a proud people, decided not to go with the English but to translate this in their own Chinese language. But when translating word to word of the English into Chinese language, they turned finger licking good to eat your fingers, which means literally eat your fingers from ಬೆರಳು ನೆಕ್ಕಷ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ directly to ಬೆರಳನ್ನ ತಿನ್ಕೊಡಿ. This is the tragedy one has to face when he goes and tries to translate each and every word as it is to another language. Now, coming to how I am going to take the syllabus, I have always want to make an atmosphere which is not so harsh on children like the schools are, because schools have already destroyed the tranquility of children as it is, and I do not want me to again do the same thing after school hours. They'll sit here, and I don't want to force them or make them carry bags of 20 kgs or books of 40 30 kgs. Hence, what I'll do is I'll give you notes of what I know and what I've prepared. I'll make you write, so you have to bring a book and a paper, and also worksheets would be given once or twice a week, looking at the reason or necessity. Talking about schools, I had my Kannada teacher who at that time, when we were being taught, there are sandhis and samasa in Kannada. When I was in 10th standard, the rest of the schools had already told their students to learn. There are around 10 types of sandhis and different more types of samasas. But the other schools, what they had done is they had analyzed all the previous year question papers and told students to only study those types. As for example, if there are 10 sandhi, they had told the students to study only 4 of those, because only the 4 were appearing in the exams repeatedly. But my Kannada teacher, what she had done was she refused to follow this method of blind spoon feeding. She told us, she in fact made us to study all of them, all of the samasas, all of the sandhis, all of the grammar, regardless of whether they come or appear in the test or not. She made us study them. At that point I hated her, to be honest, but now when I look at myself and look at me struggling to even understand the difference between ki and ka in Hindi, so much that I can't even talk to my North Indian friends properly when it comes to serious subject, when it comes to serious topic that I have to convey, I can't even talk Hindi properly to my North Indian friends. I kind of feel thankful to my Kannada teacher, because after passing in 10th standard, never ever have I ever been prioritized to knowledge. It has always been 5 marks idu barutte idu otkoli, 2 marks idu barutte idu otkoli, and never people in any education system prioritize knowledge. They just prioritize marks and rank and then the degree, which is a little sad and depressing, because all of these years of chemistry classes, I know we have to mix the chemicals, but I never knew why. I never knew that mixing chemicals would give us a magnesium strip, which is used in susubatti, which lights. Mixing chemicals with vegetable oil and heating it in a particular temperature would give us soap. I never knew. I just know that you have to go to lab, you have to mix these chemicals, you have to get the result and go off to pass chemistry. I don't want to create the same atmosphere here. I want to bring physical examples, physical attributes. As I've seen, it is better to tell them why we are using it and then teach them the thing which we are trying to teach. For example, if the teacher had told me this is soap and this is the chemicals which are used to make soap, the approach would have been a little more enthusiastic for a student like me who just slacks off and not study. It's by part my fault also, I agree. But it would be a little enthusiastic from my part to learn new things, to learn that this chemical, okay, if you mix it into vegetable oil and you heat it in a different temperature, it is going to produce soap. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to keep superficial notes or ranks or marks aside and try to give them with knowledge, because as Einstein says, learning is a continuous process which begins from the birth of the human being and ends only at the death. So unless you are ready to keep the first step, that is accepting that you need to learn, we both can make wonders and create an atmosphere where English doesn't have to be a monster, and where English doesn't have to be this thing to be fret about. We can talk English freely, make mistakes. Human life is one life, and who else will make mistakes if we not? Are we the lords? Are we the creators of this universe? No, we're just mere spectators. We're just mere thing in a billions of other stars and galaxies in the cosmos. We're just a little dot, and we are allowed to make mistakes. We'll make mistakes, we'll learn with the mistakes, we'll make mistakes again, and the learning process shall continue. Requoting what Einstein said, knowledge accumulation is a continuous process. I would like to end this orientation class. Also, I'm gonna rejog your memory. 3 months starting from November to January. We'll be taking 2 classes per week. We have decided we're going to start classes on Wednesday and Saturday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. The fees is going to be 1,500 for the whole course, for the whole 3 months course. If there is any queries, or if you do have any questions regarding the fees details or the timings, you may please contact my mother, Sangeeta Shenoy. She'll give you a proper detail, and we both will try to, if a lot of people are facing issues with the timings of the classes, we'll try to choose a middle ground and see how we can move forward in the process of learning. Regarding the syllabus, I want to quote as they say, if language is a tree, then the grammar are the roots of it. And hence I'll start from the roots, that is parts of speech. The parts of speech is going to be those little things in a sentence that needs to be in perfect order to make sense out of any sentence, which are, for example, noun, pronoun, preposition, and all of those. I'll also go with the tenses. We'll start with the basics, and then we'll build up our knowledge from parts of speech to question tags, then to formatting bigger passages to speak frequently, and vocabulary also. I'll be providing you with the syllabus copy of what and all we're going through in this course in a different message. Also, feel free to ask any doubts regarding what I do, and also if there is anything in your curriculum, in your school work that needs my help, I will be glad to help you. In fact, I am a teacher whose responsibility is to help you in all of your daily jobs, which is school, and also in the outside world, to talk and to speak English fluently. Thank you. This is Indra Shenoy, and I bid a goodbye.